Hello. It's the first time doing a YouTube live. It doesn't seem incredibly clear, my camera, but we'll see. Welcome to whoever's going to see this and join me for this full moon reading in November 2023. Here we go. And seems like we always have powerful readings for these new and full moon times. Definitely a powerful one today coming up. I'd like to show you all 4 cards that came up, and then I'll dive into this reading one by one. If there's anybody joining me live, then fantastic. If you want to drop a message in the chat to say hello, great. I'd love to say hello back, or any questions you have, we can maybe sort out those questions, or leave a little bit of time afterwards for whatever doubts or personal queries you want. I'm here to hopefully help answer or share a little bit of light to any stories that might come up, especially through this reading. So look at these 4 cards that came up, starting with this Queen and heading over to the 2 of Cups reversed, the Tower and the Moon in the middle. The Tower and the Moon is especially very powerful since they're consecutive cards in the major arcana, both 16 and 17. Oh, well, no, it's nearly consecutive. I say 16 and 18. They're very close to each other. So there's a powerful message there that continues, and in between them is the Star, which is missing. But there's when 2 major arcana cards come up upright, first of all, in a reading, when you get when half the cards are major arcana cards, it really speaks very much about a more powerful, a more general, but maybe transformational message is the best way to talk about it, because there are deep-seated lessons to be learned. There's a greater self-realization to be gained with major arcana cards. And it's not that I'm belittling the minor arcana in any way, shape, or form at all, but I found there are stronger archetypes, stronger messages, and a slightly deeper seated and sometimes difficult to embody question that comes up, or questions that come up. And with the major arcana cards, and especially when they're 2 strong and powerful ones like this, these are in the latter part of the major arcana, being higher up in their archetypal messages and teachings, or the initiations surrounding these 2 cards are something that ask us to step into a different level of maturity in order to really embody fully, or at least in order to understand on an experiential level. And let's take a look at these cards one by one and see what comes up and see what story develops. I haven't really dived into this reading very deeply, but I saw it and then put it to one side, and I thought, let's see what comes through and what comes out in this full moon little mini ceremony we're doing, and live on YouTube, which is a first. That's a good one. So the Queen reversed. She speaks predominantly to our emotional body, and that aspect of our feeling body that's so incredibly sensitive and that can be swayed by our emotional ups and our emotional downs. She doesn't feel incredibly stable. She doesn't feel like she is sitting inside the flow, and so she represents this part of us that sometimes has a little bit of trouble feeling completely in harmony. I mean, it's very difficult to feel complete harmony, I understand. So these are very general statements that I'm making. But more specifically, this is a card that's speaking about times when we're questioning ourselves, when our life doesn't feel like it's flowing in the direction that we would like it to. It sometimes comes up when we are unsure and uncertain and unclear about what we really want, what is fundamentally important for us. And this queen is the part of us that knows what we want and knows what is vitally important, knows what we're in love with. And yet sometimes in life, life comes to shake us up a little bit and make us doubt about what we really know is who we are about, what we are really in love with, and what we want in our lives and from our lives. I've sat with this queen so many times, and she represents my doubt, the doubt in me and my path and my life, and I've been shaken in moments where things don't seem to be flowing in harmoniously in the way that I would love them to, and I doubt myself, and I doubt my journey, and I doubt my path, and I end up doubting whether what I want is really what I need. Even though I know it is, and even though I know that there is a truth behind certain desires, this is a time that comes along to promote questioning what we want, and to promote questioning what we feel is really important in our lives. And the Tower comes along to really strengthen this this message. So we have, I'll show again these four cards. We have this. Oh, I'm getting them all the way wrong way around here. So we have the Queen, the Tower, the Moon, and the Two of Cups reversed. And let's just move into this transitional and powerful message of the Tower. The Tower comes along, and most people look at it and turn their faces and think, this is so terrible, this is so wrong, this is so bad, and it's easy to jump into the conclusions of darkness and the conclusions of tragedy that our life might be presenting to us. But there's something of a godsend in the Tower, being this lightning bolt coming from the heavens. And on a global level right now, there's a lot of towers coming down. There's a lot of false ego stories being seen, being shattered. And it hurts when we feel that something that we may have built in our identity around is the universe is coming along and asking us to drop it, to let it crash down around our feet, to let some part of our world die. It does not feel comfortable, and it's an incredible challenge. And it's an incredible challenge to feel that part of our identity that's been so important, maybe in ways of feeling self-worth, in ways of feeling important, and this is why it's ego related, but in ways of feeling this identity of self that we might have thought was important, we might have built up as something vital for our safety and vital for our sense of self. In whatever way, life is inviting us to let it be destroyed as the world around us is shaking the ground beneath our feet. And whether we feel it's like a terremoto or an earthquake that's crumbling around and destroying what we might have built, whether it feels like that or whether it just feels like an ideal or a belief that we have held inside of us for such long is being questioned, is being challenged, and is being rocked, and maybe part of our life may feel like our shoulders are being grabbed and we're being shaken and we're being roughed up a little bit, and it doesn't feel comfortable. It's when we are mature enough to know that this is something that I need to drop. This is something that I need to let go of. This is something that needs to be given up. And it's a challenge. And so this card is naturally going to be uncomfortable. It's going to resonate with that reverse Queen of Cups who doesn't feel very sure about herself, who's not completely certain about what is important for her, what is important for us. And we start questioning things. I relate quite strongly to this tower because I've had plenty of tower moments in my life where I've seen what I thought was my integrity being blown apart, and I've been shown the falseness of my immature beliefs and the falseness of of a life that I might have pretended is idyllic, and yet it wasn't. I might have covered up and pretended that is more than what it was, or richer than I imagined, or that I was important in some way when really I needed a healthy dose of humility. And so there's a humbleness as the king comes crashing down out of this tower. And we're asked to feel this humility. Sometimes in life, we're asked to face up to being wrong, to face up to looking at our lives and re-questioning what is genuinely important right now, right here, not according to our past conditioning, not according to our past beliefs, not according to what we've been taught, and definitely not according to what we may have been told, but according to who we are right now, right here. And this questioning is so powerful when it comes hand in hand with this moon card, which is often seen as another dark card because the moon is in the night, etc., etc. Yet there's full of light symbolism here with the flecks of what they're called yods falling down from the sky here below the moon. This is a spiritual force. This is a God-sent energy that the moon is reflecting in the shadow of our subconscious, in the shadow of what is hidden inside of ourselves. And the moon comes to reinstate that journey into our past, that journey into our heritage, that journey into our ancestry. And these are cards that are later on in the major arcana because they require a deeper level of maturity to really comprehend. And I know when I was 30 something, I couldn't have really understood where I am being 50 something. And I was not even ready at a younger age to go through darker periods of my personal journey and to be shaken up and to have my life destroyed around me. I wasn't ready for it because I didn't have the maturity. Simply this. I wasn't I wouldn't have been able to embody such dark and strong transitions as took place with me in my later life. And when we look at the moon and we look back at all of our mistakes and all of our doubts, so the moon asks us to take a regression and look into our past. It's got the four. It's got these 3 stages of evolution. You might call the crustaceans coming out of the subconscious universal waters of creation. There's the dog representing this animalistic nature inside of us, and there's this wolf representing the animalistic, and the dog, the more tame animal nature, and the missing part of that consciousness being, or phases of evolution being the humankind that we embody inside of us. But this is asking us to take a look at what we have inside, and that more raw nature, on those more raw stories, the raw ancestral patterns, and the older, and on a very personal note, the failures that we've made, the negative, the dark, as well as the light. We normally look at the light in our past and, that's easy to see. Well, we're all willing to look at that. And so we don't recognize that as being also part of the moon's initiation, or the moon's message for us. A lot of people take it at, it's time to look at that darker side, because that's what we normally resist looking at. And so in effect, it is quite often the more important part of our side to start to own, to start to recognize, to start to embody. And so the moon comes along and says, hey, look at all the mistakes that you've made in the past. Look at all the crap that you've done. Look at all the stupidity that you've been. Look how unconscious you once were, right? Because inside of owning that unconsciousness, inside of owning our past, and all of the lies that we've told ourselves, all of the lies that we've told other people, all of the way we've cheated ourselves out of being honest people, sincere people, all the way we've cheated ourselves out of being, and what I'm saying, when I'm using specifically these words, because well, at least something I've experienced is that I thought I was quite honest when I was lying to myself. And if I look back and see a lot of my past, which I've done so many times, the first thing that comes up is guilt and doubt and shame, and all of those feelings stop you looking. They stop you looking into the past, because the emotions become overwhelming. The queen turns herself upside down. She doesn't know where she's standing, and the tower's falling down around us, and we don't know necessarily how to deal with those energetics. We don't know how to own something that sits in this cloud of guilt, or a cloud of shame, or a cloud of fear, and a cloud of doubt. And so it becomes tricky, and it becomes a challenge to not necessarily forgive ourselves, but embrace ourselves, embrace the lessons that are there. Because the light of the moon can only be seen once we've allowed ourselves to open up our eyes inside of our own darkness, inside of our own past, and really embody that story more, and really help ourselves by seeing ourselves with a greater amount of integrity and honesty. That's the deeper message here. Seems like a dark path, but this is the dark path of the hero's journey through the night into the light, into the dawn that comes along. And so this last card comes up, which is also upside down, which speaks. This is the card about a healing experience that is something that we primarily share with ourselves and secondarily share with the world. So it represents very much this even exchange between the masculine and feminine, the conscious and the subconscious parts of ourselves, where there is a balance. And here, one of the important messages that coming through this card right now, here, okay, there's a masculine and feminine story. A lot of people see this as the healing caduceus of love, and of the angelic lion fire of Raphael, maybe, that's also mirrored in other cards. And this is an even exchange. It's a loving sort of partner exchange where both the man and the women are sharing on an even level, and this is beautiful. And I know what this experience is for me as well. This card is saying upside down, is coming here upside down to say, hey, there's another challenge here. Are we ready to share our healing journey with somebody else? We can only do that if we've shared it with ourselves. We can only really be able to have an open and honest and vulnerable conversation with another person on the outside if we've had that vulnerable conversation with ourselves, if we've gone into our own tower experience, realized that we're full of ego and there's some things that we really need to jump out of and throw ourselves away from. We've understood that, hey, this is, yes, it's mine, I own it, but it's also my parents and my forefathers and their forefathers. It's something that I carry with me. It's mine, and yet it's not mine. It's a community story. It's an ancestral story. And this is something that we bring in, and we've come here to heal this story. Are we ready to heal it? And this card is maybe upside down because it's questioning our readiness to be able to share, maybe on a more vulnerable level and a more honest level, who we have been. And that requires us to embrace what we're afraid of. And usually what we're afraid of is ourselves. We're afraid of being seen. We're afraid of seeing all of our darker and insincere aspects of self, of which there are plenty, without needing to judge ourselves, without needing to put ourselves down. And that's the tricky thing. We normally judge ourselves so strongly that we can't look inside. It's scary to look inside, because as soon as we do, we see something that we judge, and the judgment becomes so strong that it throws an emotional imbalance in our life. We know we're shaken up, the ground is moving, an earthquake comes along, the queen is all over the place, we don't know what we want, and we lose our flow. And yet, so this queen and this two of cups, both these two reverse cards, speak about a healing journey that can take place between yourself and somebody else. Find that somebody else. Find that somebody else that loves you more than judges you. Find that part inside of yourself first. Find it inside of yourself. Find that part of you that's in love with yourself more than self-judging, more than doubting who you are, that can hear you, that can witness you. Witness yourself, first of all. And then this witness on the outside, this outer excuse to share our vulnerability will come along, and that becomes an empowering healing experience when we can be seen naked, dark, ugly, full of crap, and still be loved. Maybe that's one way to read these cards. I'm going to put my glasses on and read some of your comments. And thanks for joining me, for those who have on this live. And I really appreciate you making the effort to do so. Yeah, and thanks all of you. I see some of you I know, I've known, kind of chatted with some of you, so that's wonderful. And yeah, this is my first live, and maybe I'd love to do a few more in this way, and then we can make this a little bit of a more common experience sharing. So yeah, thanks for all your support, guys. Thanks for your comments. If any of you have any doubts or questions you want to share, do so right now. Otherwise, I'm going to sign off and leave you this wonderful evening and wish you the best full moon. And yeah, somebody says, yes, there is definitely an intimate relationship story in this too. in this Two of Cups, it's definitely the something about, yeah, it's both your higher self on one level that comes through, as well as being a very romantic experience. Yeah, it is both. And you'll find both, if that's what you want, of course. If you just want the higher communication that comes through the healing as you experience your masculine and feminine having a wonderful inner conversation, then hey, then that's definitely what it's all about. But for a lot of us, myself included, who still a lover at heart, and really enjoys the intimacy and sharing with another individual, then this will definitely reflect, this card, the Two of Cups, will definitely reflect an intimacy and a purity and an amazing healing experience that can take place between two people, wonderfully so, whoever they might be. Again, so thank you for all of you who joined me, and I'm gonna see what happens with this video. Hopefully YouTube will just throw it out there. But yeah, I really appreciate all of your support, everyone, and I love to hear your comments. I read every single one of them. And if you wish for readings, maybe I'll got some more offers coming out there soon, and I'm designing a short 5-day free experience that is going to be engineered around the tarot cards and the 4 elements and a 5th, just to excite us a little bit, to help any of you who are interested to jump in on a little journey with me and a friend of mine who's going to be holding space and guiding in a more lengthy course. But this is a 5-day kind of intro taster that we're going to offer in the upcoming weeks. So if you're interested in that, drop me a note as well. I'm super available to chat. And for those of you on Facebook, great, we can communicate via Messenger, and if not, my email is in the description below. Have a wonderful full moon, guys, and all the best to you.